but, still getting punched on the chin still hurts. You know what I'm saying? What up, Black man? Welcome to the Beneficial Black Man podcast, where we focus on helping Black men to overcome mediocrity, to become beneficial for their community by discussing faith, creativity, personal development, and mental and emotional health management. I am your host, Jamal Calpin. How you guys doing? How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're finding time for an emotional release valve, and I hope you're protecting your mental. I hope you are, because it gets crazy out here. Sometimes you gotta put things up to protect your mind, to protect your soul, so that you're in a good place. So I hope you guys are doing well. Thank you for joining me for another episode. This is episode 42, and as I was getting ready to record this episode, I was just having a thought like, wow, I'm about to be at 50 podcast episodes for the Beneficial Black Man, and that's exciting, and that's a milestone. That's an accomplishment for me to celebrate. I don't know how I'm going to celebrate. I'm not really that great at celebrating stuff. I'm still trying to figure that out, and I'm grateful that I have that my wife is good at celebrating, or that she really encourages celebration. So I'm grateful that I'm sure if I bring it up, she'll try to help me figure out a way to celebrate that accomplishment. But yes, I'm grateful to be able to keep doing this, and I'm grateful for the tools and the resources and just like the will to do it. Again, thank you for watching, listening. If you're listening on whatever your favorite podcasting app is, thank you for watching on YouTube. I appreciate the likes, the shares, and the subscribes. I think the last I checked, I was at 64. 64. So trying to get to 100. Let's go. If you believe in this, if you believe in trying to help Black men get to a better place by using tools like creativity and focusing on improving mental and emotional well-being, subscribe, share with people. If you like the content, I'd appreciate it. All right, let's get into it. You got to start off with a mental check-in. Where am I doing? How am I doing? So I'm going to do the high, low, and have I been creating anything? I'm going to start with the high. So high, I've been feeling inspired to be a creative. I've been feeling inspired to be a creative. And the thing is, the reason that's a high is I haven't felt like that in a very, very long time. I feel like I've been depressed about my creativity. I haven't really been that interested in actually making stuff. More specifically, the idea of being a creative has been an idea and a thought that I've kind of like shoved into the depths of my mind. And that's for various reasons. And I've been working through that. And a lot of it, I think it was influenced by believing what other people have said about me and believing some of the things that are said about creatives in society and trying to work through those strongholds, work through those mental blocks. But yeah, recently I've been feeling inspired. The last time I really felt inspired and kind of believed in myself as a creative was like high school, like legitimate, like you can feel it I can feel it in my gut. Like, I can do this. Like I can do this. At the time it was like, I can be an author. Like I can be a writer. But yeah, I was feeling that recently. And it really kicked in. I think, I don't know how the thoughts start. It's kind of like Inception. Like you don't remember how you got into the dream. You don't know how it started. I was traveling with my family and I was going to my niece's baptism recently. And we were listening to whatever music was available. Because, sometimes when you're driving through certain places and the radio signal goes down. On the way back, we were listening to the radio or whatever. And Michael Jackson's "Wanna Be Starting Something." How you can like listen to songs over and over and over again. And sometimes at the right time, lyrics will stand out to you. So that was one of those moments for me. So we're listening to "Wanna Be Starting Something" by Michael Jackson. And it was the bridge that, again, I've heard this many times before, but the lyrics really stood out to me this time. So the bridge goes, "Lift your head up high and scream out to the world. I know I am someone. And let the truth unfurl. Hee haw." That's a good song. But no one can hurt you now because you know it's true. Yes, I believe in me, so do believe in you. When I heard that this time, it struck a chord. I don't know why, but it struck a chord. Like it resonated with me to like, believe in yourself. Believe in who the Most High has created you to be. Believe in yourself. Have confidence in yourself. I don't know. Like I got really jazzed up about that. And I've been holding on to that and trying to like fan it and protect it. Because again, you got to protect your genius. You got to protect these good feelings. You got the fires that come up in your life. You have to guard them. If you don't, outside forces can come and put a damper on them. So I've been holding on to that. Believe in I'm going to believe in myself. I'm going to believe that I can be a creative and accomplish all the things that I need to accomplish, for glory and for good. It's possible. It's doable. So that's the high. The high is, just feeling inspired to be a creative and just believing that I can be, or that I am a creative, rather, that I am a creative and that I'm a successful creator. I just got to continue to do the work. The low it's kind of a reoccurring low that happens from time to time. There are moments where we call them emotional triggers, or I guess it can be mental triggers too. So mental or emotional, whatever. These triggers, soul triggers, we'll just lump it all together with your soul. There are these soul triggers that happen for me that kind of lead to depression or depressive thoughts and anxious thoughts and stuff like that. And the way I describe it is really like having a love-hate relationship with being a Black man. And it really came from like a conversation I was having with my wife. It's a valid conversation and a necessary conversation as we continue to work on and grow our relationship. But as I've mentioned in a previous podcast episode and a previous YouTube video, I haven't been a good husband at times, a lot of times. And so there's work that needs to be done for me to be better at that, for healing to happen within our relationship. That's true. It's all true. It's nothing to like deny or fight back against. I think if you want to change something, you gotta own it first, acknowledge it, so that you can then actually address it. So that's the reality. There's work that needs to be done, healing or restoration that needs to happen. And it's things that I need to work on, things that I have to do and that I will do to improve not only for myself, but for my wife and our relationship. And, I think like any human being, when you hear things about yourself or when you see, get a reflection of the things that you might be wrestling with, your shortcomings and stuff like that, that can be hard to take. But it can be hard to take to acknowledge that, like, wow, this is really what it is. This is really where we are. And for me, like, I have to wrestle with the idea of like, can lead to spiraling. It can lead to like self-deprecation, and it can lead to like a not good place. But I praise God that He's been helping me to not do that, to not respond that way, and to take it on the chin, so to speak, and keep pushing to focus on improving and growing. But, still getting punched on the chin still hurts. You know what I'm saying? And so I think the best way to sum it up, I wrote a blog post about this last year, and it was called "I'm Proud to Be a Black Man Sometimes." And so I'm just going to read that. There's actually going to be a lot of reading this episode so that I can communicate all the things that I actually want to say. But yeah, I'm proud to be a Black man sometimes. There are days that I'm grateful for the way God created me. I'm grateful to be the descendant of enslaved people because they were resilient, brilliant, and overall amazing. I'm grateful that there are Black men from history that I can look to in reference to guide my own steps moving forward. Examples of bravery, innovation, and excellence. I'm grateful to be reminded of that when I need some inspiration and encouragement. Other times, I'm ashamed of the privilege and position I've been given in this world, especially when it comes to the impact Black men have had on our community. We have done some constructive things as well as destructive things to our own people. It's heartbreaking to see that there is plenty of evidence of the negative impact Black men have had on the Black community. It makes me ashamed. It grieves me. Whether it be violence towards one another, violence and mistreatment towards our women, or neglect and abandonment to our youth and children, the image and impact of Black men in our society isn't that great. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand it can be challenging to get a clear picture of what it means to be a Black man in America. It can also be challenging to hear the truth about where we are as a community. But amidst the dialogue and digital spaces regarding Black relations between men and women, it all looks pretty bleak. I try to hold on to good examples of Black men in our community. They're mainly close friends or the few celebrities I can find. It's sad, but it appears the beneficial Black men are becoming harder to find. They're the minority, while toxicity and destructive men are the majority. That doesn't necessarily mean every Black man is openly violent, deceptive, or manipulative. What it does mean is there are bad ideas and beliefs running rampant that lead to greater chances of Black men negatively impacting our community, whether it's supporting misogynistic ideas, violent behavior between brothers, or complaining about the woes of American life without constructive problem solving. The majority of men in our community appear to be getting worse rather than improving. I'm trying to hold on to hope that it's not as bad as it seems, but day after day, my hope is growing smaller. I did a podcast episode about this entitled, "Are Black Men Really Shit?" It's a tough question. The answer that keeps popping up, I wish wasn't true. The reality is I know I can find a space on the internet to cocoon myself to believe everything is all right and that what I see and hear is all fake news. That wouldn't be helpful in the long run, though. Hiding our heads in the sand as black men won't help us to become beneficial men. It won't help us to improve our community. And it won't help us to become the servant leaders we desperately need to be. So even though what I hear about us and our community day after day weighs on my heart and grieves me, I'd rather know the truth. That way, I can play my part in helping black men to stop living mediocre and become excellent for glory and for good. It just gets really hard sometimes. So that I think that really sums up that low. And again, sometimes it's hard. Sometimes I can take it okay, like the punch is all right, and other times it's like a knockout, and I'm dazed, and it takes a minute to get back together, get myself back together. But yeah, so that's the low. Creative. Since the start of the year, I have been creating shorts every day, and probably after recording this podcast, I'm going to create another short. So I've been doing that creatively, and it's actually kind of fun. In high school and in college, I've always kind of been involved with like video production and multimedia kind of stuff. So the idea of trying to create something of value in 1 minute is kind of fun. It's challenging, So like I'll go in and edit it, add music and stuff like that. So I'm trying to think of more ideas and to be more creative with it, so that it's more engaging to you, to whoever else watches it. So that's been fun, creating shorts. So I was going to talk about platonic relationships in this episode, and how they're absent in the lives of black men, and how the fact that they are absent, like healthy platonic relationships, the fact that not only platonic relationships, but the absence of like actual healthy, real relationships is detrimental to us as black men. But I'm going to save that for another video. I'm going to make a dedicated video to that. What I do want to do is I want to make it clear that this concept, this idea of being a beneficial black man is an ideal. It's something to strive for regardless of where you are in your life, whether you're single, married, divorced, a widower, depressed, rich, poor, whatever. Whether you're red pill, whether you're black pill, whatever. It's the beneficial black man is the ideal that all of these things as black men we should be striving for. It's something that we should all be working towards. And it's something I'm choosing to work towards, even when I feel at times like it's not possible. And the thing about it is like, it's not an unrealistic ideal. It's something that can be accomplished, but we have to keep working towards it and understand that it's a process to get there. I think the reason that I want to reinforce this is like, I want to encourage us to keep fighting towards it, to keep fighting towards becoming beneficial black men so that we can be our best selves and benefit the black community. There are many days it just seems hopeless for us as black men and in our community. It feels hopeless for the black community. I know there are people who are just like checked out, like forget it, whatever. What is the black community? It doesn't exist. It's not going to get any better. There are moments where we appear to be so far gone that the best option is to terminate anyone that looks like us, young, old, or unborn. And I know people who like to frequent on the internet who have issues with like Cynthia G, because I've heard her content too, and she's talked about this. She's talked about aborting black boys. And I don't want this to become something about Cynthia G, but I know you're aware of it. As a black man, I'm sure if you're on the interwebs, if you're listening to any of this stuff, I'm aware you're aware of her, and you're aware of her content, and you're aware of that suggestion that she provides for our community, and it's a loaded suggestion full of emotions and ideas, and I would say response and reaction to the state of our community. Because to be honest, if things were good, if there were more beneficial black men, I don't think she would offer that. She wouldn't offer that as a resolve to deal with things. If it was like 80-20, 80% of the black men in our community were beneficial black men, I don't think anybody would really be complaining. Sure, there would be stuff to still fix and deal with. Shoot, if it was 70-30, like that would 60-40, I think it would still be like, there's still hope. There's still more over here. We don't have to go and kill every black male that's born. But I think honestly, I think it's a trauma response. But a lot of people support it because they've also been impacted by the traumatic actions and results of black men in our community, of men in our community. In some instances, it feels like no one believes in us, not even us. I've heard different content creators who are like, forget it. Like, forget it. It's just like, save yourself, black man. Don't even deal with this. And finding good examples of black men that are still living at times seems difficult. And the thing is, I know it's not all true, but that's how it appears at times. We are in a weird space as people, as men, as a community, as a society, And for me personally, I get really discouraged some days. I wrestle with my own shortcomings, and those shortcomings magnified by the many shortcomings I see and hear about that other brothers that look like me, that look like us. My stuff added with that stuff or supported by that stuff, like it just looks like, well, damn, this really does suck. And you try to find some good examples to hope in and be inspired by, but something happens to them. Personal, like when I first heard about Dr. Umar Johnson, I was like, oh man, this guy's on it. And then, some things don't seem to add up sometimes. It's like, why are you saying this? Or like, why is it taking so long to do this or do that? And it becomes kind of like, oh man, like I thought this was, and it's not just him, it's just a lot of other people. It can be, as a believer, it can be pastors. Very often, a lot of times it is pastors or elders or leaders that are supposed to be in our community. It's like you have this hope that you're looking for, and then something happens. And it's not to say that I'm expecting people to be perfect, but it's like, are we all striving for the same thing? Are we all striving to be beneficial for our community? Or are you just striving to be beneficial to yourself? You have these examples and they do something shady, or you find out they're wearing a mask, like they're just running game, and it gets tiring. To be honest, if I didn't believe Jesus, Yeshua HaMashiach, was a black man, I'd have even fewer examples of this ideal of a beneficial black man existing. But even with all of that, I'm still convicted and convinced that we can grow and change. I can grow and change. And it's still worth it to pursue the ideal for glory and for good. It's just, honestly, just some days I'm reminded we got a long way to go. And those reminders at times trigger my depression and my anxiety. And, after I make it through that, it eventually triggers motivation and inspiration to keep fighting. It's a strange push and pull, but I guess that wouldn't happen if I didn't really care about my people or believe that the Most High has a plan and purpose for us individually and collectively. So, I say all that to say that just as a reminder, as you're watching this content, like black man isn't ideal, but it can be accomplished. So if you have your shortcomings, if you have your failures, if you have areas that you're still working on, keep striving for the ideal. Keep getting there. Like, we're trying to get to that better place, like, don't give up on yourself. Just know, like, I am in process to accomplish that and to get there, So just keep taking these chin shots, these body shots, just keep rolling with the punches. I'm going to commit to doing that. And I hope you will too, because we got work to do, and it's going to be for our good, because we're going to be where we need to be in alignment with what we need to accomplish. And it's going to benefit those around us, and it's going to have a huge impact on our community and those around us, So it's worth it. It's worth it, even though some days it doesn't feel that way. It's worth it. That's it. That's all I really wanted to say in this episode, in the share in this episode. Again, thank you for watching and listening. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'd appreciate it. If you're listening on your favorite podcasting app, leave a review on Apple Podcasts, or I wonder if you can leave a review on Spotify. Anyway, but leave a review. 5 stars. And please, again, subscribe to the channel. Black man, you're called for more than mediocre living. You're here for a purpose, to live for glory and for good. Let's do the work and keep choosing to become beneficial for our community. I believe in you. Like Michael Jackson said, I believe in me, so you should believe in you. I believe in you. Until next time, go make something for yourself, of yourself, and for glory and for good. Remember, find time for an emotional release valve and protect your mental. See you guys next time. Peace.